Good day. How's everybody doing? So, welcome to How We Got Here Genealogy. My name's Brian, as always. I guess it's always been my name. Um, just inviting you all here to drop in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from, as it's always appreciated knowing that. Um, Let me know if you can hear me today, so I'm not talking to myself. Uh, okay, I'm just finishing up with something, and um, hopefully you can hear me today. That was kind of embarrassing last week, and then the way YouTube lets me edit it, it didn't go through. Um, for It went through with all the silence at the beginning, and it was about 24 hours before I could actually edit it because for some reason it was slowly processing into HD and wouldn't let me edit it in the meantime. And yeah, let me know if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Facebook, as I do stream to both. Okay. So just to kick it off, see what everybody's been doing this week. Has anybody made any great new discoveries in their family history they want to talk about? Any questions that they have? Of course, you can always ask the questions in here in chat. I also have a form that you can use that should be able to find most of my videos has a link to it, or just simply go to the website ask.howwegothere.ca. Okay. Now that says it's coming still. So let's just make sure this is live for everybody. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Um, okay, so I am just gonna talk a little bit about what I was up to this week. Besides doing some research for my clients, um, I took a trip to Moncton, New Brunswick. A little bit genealogy channel related, and a little bit of entertainment. My wife and I went to go see the musical Come From Away with the touring cast. Really good story. If you're not aware of it, I recommend it. If you get a chance to see it, definitely do that. And one of the things I did, amongst other things, is I was able to visit the Irish Families Memorial in Moncton. A memorial dedicated to the families of the Irish families that make up the population of New Brunswick. It At the time when the 18 late 1800s, but early 20th century, they were the majority of the Anglophile population would have been Irish. Let me see if I can find there. Share. 1 second here. Do that this way though. Let's go to here. You'll find on my channel if you actually go to the post section. You should see that there was a post I did on it yesterday. Um, share my screen, and let's share my screen. I love this sharing of screens. So this is the post from Facebook, and on it, there's a link to my website and blog, and it is actually right here. So when you go to that, you will get this. Let me see if I can switch to make this bigger. There we go. So yeah, a really interesting little trip. There's more pictures in here. Is what I'm trying to show. It's supposed to be come up in a gallery format, but it's not. Um, I'm going to have to adjust that. That's what happens when I adjust to making this on the fly. One of the things I did notice is this memorial was placed in 2000. I believe it was 2000. Let's just see here. I actually have the dedication stone. Maybe I don't have a picture of it there. Oh, there we go. Um, one second. Let's see if I can bring this up. So here's the dedication stone. Yeah, it was in 2000. Um, so when we look at this here, and some of these, and I wish I was able to load these in a larger one. It's supposed to be. Second. Um, you look at some of these. The engraving is getting really worn in and hard to read in some places. Some of them are still fairly well. Um, let's see. Here. Like this. This is fairly good. But on all these stones, there's just lists of different family names of the families that were the early settlers to make up the New Brunswick Irish. Talks about a little bit about the Irish famine, the potato famine, um, as well, which one of the things that brought a lot of people here to Canada. But yeah, a lot of the text, and you can sort of make it on here. You'll see that it's starting to fade. This is 25 years, and um, it just it kind of you can appreciate some of the older graves when you see them and when they're 100+ years old, and you can sometimes read them better than some of this. Um, I don't know if it's because the location is beautiful location right by Paticodiac River. Um, I didn't really take too many pictures of the scenery around it. I think you can see a little bit in one of them. There you go. You can see the river behind it. It doesn't look as pleasant there as it actually is, but it's beautiful, nice uh, walking track like along the river. It was a great day, sunny day yesterday. So yeah, it was really good to see. It was a nice day to be there. Let's see if this is bringing up the picture a little better. No, it's not. So okay, so that's what I was doing yesterday. Earlier in the week, I'd been working on some of my clients' stuff, so stop screen sharing and let's go back to me. There we go. It automatically does that. So yeah, the the it was a good day for going out there and doing something a little different. Um, Along with the visit there, I was able to visit with some friends that I have in the Moncton area, and of course we did what any good islander does when they go to Nova Scotia or Cape or New Brunswick. They make sure they take a trip to Costco. Um, since we don't have one here on the island, so rumor has it there might be one at some point. So, excuse me, I'm just yeah, it's got something stuck there. Anyways, uh, hopefully, like I said, you can hear me today. Yeah. Okay. That seems to be better. You definitely can hear me because I can hear myself when I go to it live. Perfect. I'm really going to be really self-conscious of that over the next little bit. So there's going to be a little change up in the schedule live streams over the next couple weeks. Next week it should be good. It's the week after the second last on last week of May. I'm going to have to switch the days that I'm doing the live stream. Just as I will be traveling on the Fridays and um, well, and actually, sorry, the first Friday I have an event I have to go to, and then the next Friday I'll be traveling. So that being said, I'm going to be doing some traveling to Nova Scotia, back to the Halifax area. If there's anything that you guys would like to see as far as video in relation to Nova Scotian ancestry, just let me know. Place you think would be an interest for me to do a video. Um, okay, so I have some new DNA matches. It's interesting. Um, One of the things I haven't done actually, the last time I was in Halifax a couple weeks ago, I went and visited my great grandparents. Well, my grandparents and my great grandmother's grave. Um, and a few images there. Let's see if I can find them on phone and I'll share them. Um, yeah. So I'll share them with myself. So I can put them on the screen. 1 second here. Do this. There. I'm gonna get those now. There we go. And I'm going to do photos over here. 1 second. Bear with me, please. And that's what we edit. What I'm trying to do. There. Oh, okay, so here we go. You can't hear it. Perfect. Great. Thank you very much. It's a little out of sync. Okay. Let me see if I can get the audio. I'm just going to switch my mic, maybe. Now that it's going, let me know if that's a little better. So this is my great-grandfather, Frederick T. Nash, and this is his mother, in memory of his mother, who died in 1875. This grave here. I don't believe she is buried there. And then on here, oops, we have some. Yeah, that's the oldest part of the stone, and then comes sort of the modern family. This is my Dante Joseph Bianco is the husband of my wife, of my father's aunts, so my grandfather's sister. She and this here is actually my father's sister. And Ronald Nash, I'm not sure which relation he is exactly. The same as Gwendolyn and Patrick. Those would be, I believe, nephews and my grandfather. Gwendolyn might be a sister. Edmund is my grandfather, and Alice is my grandmother. And this is just the other side of it. And then Catherine Agnes, this is Frederick, who was the son of John L. Nash, and his wife Margaret, and Margaret M. Now, Frederick T. Nash, this John L. Nash is one of the other sons, and John Lewis, and this would be John Lewis's wife. This would be my grandfather's brother, my great-grandfather's wife, Catherine. She died in 1971, so I was 1 year old when she died. So I might have met her, do not recall her. Actually, all four of my great-grandmothers still lived while I was alive, and none of my great-grandfathers had. Her and my father's other grandmother, so my other great-grandmother on the
my father's side. She died, I think, in 1976, and I do not recall meeting her, but I'm sure I had. And I'm not even showing this here, so I'm talking, and um, that's not showing there. There we go. I thought it was still at the screen up shared. I forgot that I told I didn't want to share. So yeah, here's the. Let's go back. I'll go back to the beginning. So this is the my 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 great grandfather Frederick T. Nash. He was born in 1874. He died in 1946. His mother, Joanna Nash, who was Joanna White. Um, she died in 1875. The next two were my father's aunt and her husband, and my father's sister. Um, and I have to go and check these particular names again. They're very the Patrick is very common in our family. Ronald isn't. Um, but this Edmund G and Alice G, those are my grandparents, and it's just the other side of that. And then Catherine Agnes, that's my great grandmother, the one that I was saying that she died in 1971. So, and again, here is my grandfather's brother and his wife. And this is in Holy Cross Cemetery in let's see. That's it. Was that showing my page, my thing right? Uh, I can't tell. Now it's showing this. Yeah, it's showing me. There we go. That's better. I was watching myself. It's something to do. So there I am. I'm out of there. I hate this sharing of pages, etc. Hello, how you doing? Um, so yeah, the my great grandmothers lived. All four lived during my lifetime. Two of them I knew. The two that are on my mom's side I knew fairly well. Um, just we tended to visit my mom's family. She was an only child more than my father's family in those my youth when I was young, and then we moved out of the Maritimes for a number of years, and I didn't see anybody for a few years unless they had visited us. Um, so then, yeah, I had never had that opportunity to really connect with my great grandmothers on my father's side, but I had on my mother's side. Um, in fact, the one great grandmother died just before, uh, well, by the time we had booked our Christmas vacation. We had planned it, and just a couple weeks before we would have went from Ottawa to Cape Breton, which was going to be the first time we'd been back to Cape Breton since we'd left New Brunswick in 1976, in the summer of '76. So we'd been away absent for about 4 years, and then um, went to Cape Breton. My other great grandmother was still alive, so I did get to meet with her, and she lived for another year, but that was I think the only time we actually got to see her. Um, Now her sister lived for many years after, a few years after. Um, it's funny, they were in the same nursing home. They were in the rooms next to each other, but never really talked. Don't don't know, but there was some type of difference apparently that went on. I'm not sure exactly what it was, and one of those things I was too young to ask or too young to be told. Um, Not sure which, but yeah, her sister went and lived for at least I want to say five, well, at least yes, at least 6 more years, maybe 7 more years. Um, so I got to know her well. I was always her favorite, so I was told she was a spinster, never had any of her own children. So she apparently I was her favorite. Me and I was her favorite male, and then my mom, one of my mom's cousins was her favorite female. I'm not sure exactly why, though she did have apparently a at one point a boyfriend with the same last name. So I don't know if that had to do with something. Though not related. She also really liked my dad, and well, everybody liked my dad. He was easy to like. So, yeah, I'm glad to have you there. Here, everybody. I'm glad that my audio is better. I had nothing but problems with the audio and getting things. I was trying to make sure it was all working, and the problem is I can test it and it will work, but it doesn't necessarily test at the as far as the broadcast part. So as I was asking, anybody have any great things they were doing this past week in their own family history research, anything going on that you have any questions about? I had been doing mostly work on a few of my clients' genealogies this week, which is nice. Often I find that though as much as I want to work on some of my own family stuff, I don't get a chance between working on clients' genealogy and then working on stuff for videos. I did a video yesterday. I launched. I filmed it earlier in the week, and it was placed up on I think Wednesday. It loaded. I loaded it earlier than I wanted to because I was going to be traveling yesterday. Not that you can't program it, but I just wanted to make sure it got done. So because that I can test and upload first and review before I put it public. That was a fun little video to make. It was just about something. I talked about it last week, but on the channel here, the live stream, but about how to ask the right question when you're looking for help for a genealogist, whether it be if you're hiring one, if you're looking to get help from a group. I don't have a YouTube membership. I have one, but I don't. I'm going to actually pull it back and not use it because the problem with YouTube membership, a lot of people don't realize, is YouTube takes a big chunk of it. So I have a membership to my genealogy community, which I'm going to run myself. The benefits of that is I can offer everything that YouTube does through their membership, but I get to maintain more of the funds from it because I'm just paying for the processing charges of the credit cards as opposed to the actual fee that's about. Well, by the time you do it, it's close to 40, almost 50% or more. For instance, you donate $5 as a super chat, YouTube's going to keep about it keeps about $270 of it actually, because they put the processing charge in there first. So when I was looking at doing membership, I had it before, but you wind up losing too much money and and I wanted to actually have a little more with my membership. So having my genealogy community where I'll have discussions about different things. In fact, one of the things in my membership is I will have a monthly Zoom call with the members. I might break it down depending on how much the membership grows, where I can break it down and have a membership, have Zoom calls on specific topics possibly. So yeah, that was the question I was asking. You asking definitely. I can hook you up with that, and if you go to, it's actually, I'll just type it right here in the chat. Just 1 second. Right now, it's free, but I will be putting the paid options in shortly. It's just getting them to work automatically. So it's either going to be that right now, if somebody's wanting to pay, to have one of the paid options, and there's more to it with the paid options. They have more access. It's going to have to be a manual process where I send a link and you'll get a subscription, just because the software I'm dealing with doesn't quite manage the subscriptions the way I want to. So I'm looking at, I might wind up changing it from this particular program to something different. But I hope to have exclusive content as well as, yeah, YouTube does keep a lot. It's, I mean, they provide a lot there, but as far as on the membership thing, other than collecting the fees, they're not really doing a lot extra, because most of the benefits aren't necessarily related to content. That when people have memberships, there's other things. So yeah, the idea is to be something that's more self-sufficient for itself, and be able to expand and grow my business, as well as the community as well, by investing in some things to make it better. And actually, right after this, I have some new podcasts coming out in the next couple weeks. Right after this live stream, or shortly thereafter, I actually have to go, and I'm doing an interview for a podcast the next couple weeks, and then early next week on the 13th, I have another interview I'm doing. I'm trying to get podcast episodes done about once a month. So I had been originally years ago doing it bi-weekly, but just it became getting the good guests on that want to all the time. I sort of was at that point was limiting my topics, and I'm still going to be limited as far as podcasts, where they're going to be more focused on Canadian genealogy specifically, and Canadian history. But it's getting guests that make it worthwhile. Yeah, so that's my week coming up. Next week is a bit busy doing some stuff on the as far as research, and then plus I have, well, let's see, this is just waiting for my other camera to load. Because it's finally starting to get some nice weather, my wife's decided it's a good time to get back to doing some of the yard work and stuff that she likes to do in the garden. I'm not a gardener, but it's my duty as a good and dutiful husband to help. Actually, last weekend we both wound up killing ourselves. We were moving 2 Japanese willows, and they'd grown quite a bit, and getting the roots out was pretty hard on both our backs, digging and chopping them out, and then moving these large bushes from one garden to the other. My wife has a series of English gardens in her backyard. I have a Scottish garden, which is basically a wild garden that has that does have thistle, so that's why I call it my Scottish garden. And let's just see. This is. I'm waiting for it to load. Yeah, if you go there, you go there. Yes, you will get ads sometimes from my on live streams. It does. You can click on the skip ad if you want to. If you want it to watch it, definitely do. Okay. Why is that not working? Okay. I'm trying something here. I apologize. And I mean to be ignoring you, I do really apologize. Oh, the side by side, that's weird. Yeah. I don't know what that would be about. Let me see if this will work. So I'm gone black there for a second. There you go. So as you can see, my grass is kind of green. That's the potato field that's out my my side window where my office is. Well, I live on Prince Edward Island. I'm basically surrounded by potato fields. If you have to put out the back window past our English gardens, you would see the more potato fields. To one side of me is potato fields, and to the other side is potato fields. And that's this window. So yeah, it's the grass has gotten green. I was out mowing earlier today. I have to do some more. Just one second. I had to go and just shut my door. My cat was in here. And my dog was in here most of the day with me. My dog really likes to come up to my office with me. But when I put her downstairs before supper for a while, and she hasn't come back up, my cat decided to just go and sleep in the dog's corner where it usually curls up. But it decided it was tired of that and opened my door. And just want to keep the noise from going both directions. So yeah, if you ever hear my video, let's see if I can do this. When I switch there, if you ever see, sometimes in my videos you hear you might hear background noise. I try to work on getting as much of that out as I can, but unfortunately, now it's not doing any traffic. It's on a pretty busy highway. This is considered a highway in PEI, not just a normal road. But then again, every road in PEI is listed as a highway, but this is a part of the Trans-Canada Highway. And it can get, when it's busy, it's quite loud. In the summers, often I'll wind up doing these live streams, possibly later. I did that last year just because I have to have the window open. It's so hot. And at times, and then it's just so loud that if I don't do it until later in the evening, it gets too noisy. Yeah, side by side. Interesting. Okay. Just looking here. So one of my clients this week was good. One of the services I offer is I just verify the family tree that they have, and especially sometimes if people are hitting a brick wall or they're unsure or they're looking to have me do something more. I'll provide a service where I just basically go through. I do the checks, double check some of the sources to make sure they're accurate. And this is a family that's they're a customer. They're in North Carolina, and they always assume that their family was Scottish. On this one particular line, has a very Scottish Mac name, Macintosh, and the from everything they were always told that the family was Scottish, but when they've done DNA tests now, they're getting people from Ireland, and they're getting that are matching and stuff, and so they're just not sure. They were stuck to the point they were trying to get their ancestor start digging, because they were going over to Scotland in the near future on a trip, and they'd like to know where exactly their ancestor came from. So I had some disappointing news as far as that is that their ancestor wasn't Scottish, but Ulster Scot, Scots Irish. Means they still have connections to Scotland. It's just back a few more generations, and they thought that people basically spent about 150 years in Ireland, the family, before they, what, 3-4 generations, full generations, maybe more. Depends what you consider a generation, how often. So it could be up to six generations. That so they're not as closely connected to Scotland as far as the time distance. So working on that one, I was able to at least verify, though it does get hard to get those Irish records. We were able to narrow it down. So instead of looking at anywhere in Scotland, we know that they're part of that Ulster plantation group their family was originally. And so then from there, we can, when we get back through the Irish records, we hopefully be able to find out where exactly in Scotland. From my initial inquiries and research and look into it, I'm thinking that they were Lowland Scots, very close to Hadrian's Wall, close to the border of that area of Scotland, just little bit north. So it's just digging into that a little more and getting it. Hopefully I'll have some good news and some good before she goes to Scotland. And I mean, like I said, I do have an interview I got to do after this. So I'm probably going to have about 10, 15 minutes left. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Now, missing some of the audios that I used to have on my previous one that I used to be able to play. I had a nice last call because I do call it the happy hour, at least what it originally was called, the How We Got Here Genealogy Happy Hour. And so I had last call for people to ask any questions. If there's anything going on, any questions you have, do make sure you put them in the chat. Use the ask.howwegothere.ca, or you can even send an email to ask@howwegothere.ca, and there will be an answer from me, usually in a forthcoming video. But if there's something you're looking for help on right away today, just let me know. I have a few other things. I have a couple projects that I've been working on for other people as well. Did some really good shortly after my podcast I recently did about French ancestry in Canada. I got a new client that was looking for some help, and they were looking specifically to. We were trying to get them their ancestry in the New World side, and we got to exploring some French records. French records are fabulous. The records I had, they're pretty good. I think I mentioned it last week. Was able to use AI a little to translate and actually read some of the records. There's an abundance. When I say they're good, I just mean there's an abundance of them. There's abundance of records. They were good record keepers. So we made a little headway there, and I'll probably be finishing up with her in the next couple weeks and have I might be wind up doing a video on that, on the one with the Scottish family and the Scots-Irish. I will definitely be doing a video on that. I've been gathering, as I do my search, gathering my images and stuff that I need to do a video. That being said, is there anybody has any ideas or topics they would like me to cover in a future video? There's a few of them I have. One of them is I am going to be doing it sometime in the near future, is a video on the British home children, and also to go and side by side as that is I'm going to do probably a separate video on the British guest children during World War II. They're both interesting topics. The home children definitely is a really interesting part of of history, and can definitely create some challenges for people that are descended from the home children or have home children relations in their family tree, because a lot of that information, the records in it are kind of, they're similar to like adoption records, and a lot of it, and you're looking essentially what those adoptions, but with it's dealing with through multiple countries at the same time. I'm sure it'll be like future generations that want to research if their future generations descendant was of the late 20th century, early 21st century, the Chinese or adoptions or Romanian adoptions, that there'll be some going back and searching back. Hopefully we've kept good records. Modern day, we keep a little bit of records that both from family side and from an individual side. So yeah, if there's no questions, I'm going to scoot out of here in a minute or two. I was mentioning earlier, yeah, if you get a chance, go see Come From Away. I saw it in Moncton. It's traveling around North America. It was off Broadway. I think it still might be. Really good. Really. It's about the, if you're not familiar with it, it's about during 9/11, they diverted 38 planes that were in the Atlantic when they closed down the airspace that were traveling from Europe to North America. They diverted 38 to Gander, a little community of about 9,000 people. So they had these people that they refer to as the plane people, basically, for there was about almost 7,000 for several days. The community, really stepped up and welcomed these people. And actually, it should open a lot of people weren't used to the type of hospitality you get from a Maritimer or from Newfoundlander, inviting you into their home, inviting you to have tea, taking care of you, but it's a really interesting way of portraying that story. It was really well done. The music's good. The cast that we saw was great. The only issue we had is like often in musicals, sometimes it's hard to make out what they're saying, but usually they repeat different parts enough times that you can catch on. But yeah, definitely go see it. It's worth it. If you see it performing anywhere near you, the story itself. If not, I did some searching actually today, just because a couple of things they brought up I never really thought about. So I wanted to. I knew about the story and I knew about why has it happened. Well, we knew that it's Canadians. We definitely knew that these planes were being diverted there, but seeing what the community did for them was really pretty awesome, and seeing how the people responded. But they put it to music, they make it entertaining, and they make a tragic event like 9/11, and they show something positive that came out of it. So the last name, the surname is just Jack. No, I'm not familiar with that myself. I can definitely do some looking into that. On my dad's side, one of our Scottish. Now that's interesting because one of the things with Scottish ancestry, they can really make things complicated sometimes. Is people get. I did a video 2 years ago on this on dit names. The French have them, the Scottish have them, and that's. I use an example just like up west in the Acadian area. There's a fella I know of. His name is, I think, I've heard of him. It's not off from there, but one of my friends, he refers to him as, I believe it's Johnny Fix-It. Everybody knows him by that name. Nobody knows his last name. And that actually happened quite a bit. I have a cousin. I was sharing this story with somebody yesterday when we were talking actually about this subject. Their first name is John Vincent. Nobody knows him as John Vincent. This cousin's 5 years older than me. And he goes by the name Timmy. because his mother, whenever she called John, 5 kids would come running to the door. So she didn't feel like feeding 5 kids supper, so they gave him the name Timmy. It's not a family name. It's not his middle name anywhere. All his adult life, he's known as that. I'm sure most people that he works with knew him as that. Only if you ever looked into it, like his legal name is John Vincent. So it's yeah, it makes for an interesting thing, and that could be something that happened there. There could be a reason he took the name Jack and it became the surname. So it could be part of another clan. I can definitely look into that. I'd love to do that. If you want to send me a little bit of information if you have, and I can sort of take a look if you have a family tree that you have on one of the public family tree, or if it's on one of the sites, just send me an email to ask at howwegotheregenealogy.com with the link, and I can link to it, look at, and take a gander and see what I can help you with. Okay, so I'm actually going to head out so I can prepare for my interview, so I can. I think I have all the questions that I'm wanting to ask them. This is, again, like I said, for an upcoming podcast, and I'm going to be speaking to the manager of a local museum. And then I'm actually on the board of the historical society that looks after the museum. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd be definitely interested. I love people's family stories. I like things like that as well. But no, yeah. So I'm going to be interviewing her. It's a young lady. We had her for the last year and a half. She's going to be going to Scotland. That's near the end of her term. But I'm talking to her about what the subject we're going to be talking mostly about, besides local history, is talking about her, how she was able to use her love of history to have it, to create a job, a little different job than people normally think you're going to get. Yeah. So the other thing, that name being short, it like I said, it could be a shortened version of a name as well, or it's just one that didn't get mixized. In a sense, it didn't get, they're not the Mick Jacks, or they just never carried on that way. But yeah, I can definitely look into it and try to figure out if I can find anything. I can look for some general things about the surname, what I can find out, but see if there's anything specific we can find as well. And it could be, again, that it's just was a name that, yeah, at some point somebody in the family had taken on. I don't know why they would have taken on the name Jack, because I don't relate that to an occupation. They could have been Jackson or Mick Jack, and the Mick very well could have dropped at some point, because that I've seen happen. I've seen it happen with Irish people too as well. The O drops, so instead of O'Keefe, you just have Keefe. And I've seen it occasionally with Scottish names, instead of McNeil, you have Neils. So yeah, it could be something like that. I don't know specifically what would actually digging into it, but I'll be happy to do that. So that being said, I guess I'm going to bid you all, one and all, farewell. Adieu. Loch Wiesnane and all that. You have a great day. Keep searching for your ancestors. And yeah, same time next week. Just about 5 after 6 Atlantic. It's 5:05 Eastern. And then the next 2 weeks after that, I'll be shifting it up sometime later, different in the week, but I will make sure that's posted well in advance so you know where to find me. Okay, you guys all have a great day, and thanks